Global finance doesn't fail because money moves too slowly. It fails because it gets stuck between systems that were never designed to connect. What looks like inefficiency is actually fragmentation. And every time value pauses between systems, institutions don't just lose time. They carry risk, lock up capital, and widen buffers to compensate. The common story goes like this. Banks are slow, blockchains are fast. Replace one with the other, and the problem disappears. But that story doesn't survive contact with reality. In the real financial system, money already moves fast inside individual networks. Domestic payment rails are instant. Internal bank ledgers update in real time. Even many blockchain networks settle in seconds. The friction shows up somewhere else, in the gaps between systems, between banks and blockchains, between stablecoins and fiat accounts, between national payment rails and cross-border settlement. Speed isn't the bottleneck. Coordination is. And that creates a strange paradox. Finance is becoming more digital, more tokenized, and more automated. Yet value is splintering across more ledgers than ever before. That's the problem this video is about. Not price, not hype. The plumbing underneath settlement itself. Everything here is for educational and entertainment purposes only, not financial advice. Always do your own research before making any investment decisions. If clear, no hype crypto education helps you make sense of all this. Hit like and subscribe. It tells YouTube this series is worth showing to other newcomers, and it helps me keep building it for you. Once you zoom out, a different picture emerges. Global finance isn't converging onto a single chain or a single network. It's fragmenting. Banks keep their ledgers. Stablecoins live on multiple blockchains. Central banks explore CBDCs. Payment companies operate closed systems. Tokenized assets introduce entirely new rails. Each system works fine on its own. The failure happens when value has to move between them. That's why messaging systems like the SWIFT network still exist. Not because they move money, but because they coordinate it. And even that coordination still relies on delayed settlement, pre-funding, and reconciliation after the fact. What institutions actually need is not another ledger. They need a way to route value across many ledgers without breaking compliance, liquidity, or finality. That requirement changes everything. Interledger Protocol starts from a simple but powerful idea. Instead of forcing every system to adopt the same ledger, let each system remain independent and focus on how value moves between them. Interledger doesn't replace ledgers. It connects them. Value is broken into small packets, similar to how data moves across the internet. Each packet moves conditionally from one ledger to the next, coordinated by connectors that never need custody of the funds. If a condition isn't met, the payment doesn't complete. If a hop fails, the system rolls back safely. That design matters because institutions don't tolerate partial settlement. There's no room for eventual consistency when real money is involved. Interledger treats settlement like routing, not like broadcasting. And that shift from monolithic systems to packetized value is the foundation of the global liquidity engine. This is where the architecture becomes unintuitive for many people. Interledger payments don't move as one large transaction. They move as streams of small conditional packets. Each packet only completes if the next system confirms it can settle. That means liquidity doesn't have to be pre-funded across the entire route. Risk doesn't accumulate at any single intermediary. And failures don't cascade. Instead of trusting institutions to reconcile later, the system enforces correctness at each step. This is why Interledger shows up repeatedly in conversations about institutional settlement, CBDC interoperability, and regulated tokenized money. Not because it's flashy, but because it aligns with how risk is actually managed in finance. Routing value is only half the equation. At some point, value has to settle. This is where the XRP Ledger plays a specific role. The XRP Ledger is designed for deterministic settlement. When a transaction completes, it completes. There's no probabilistic finality, no waiting for confirmations, no ambiguity about state. That predictability is critical for institutions. It simplifies reconciliation, reduces counterparty exposure, and supports real-time treasury operations without fallback buffers. In a multi-ledger world, the XRP Ledger doesn't need to dominate everything. It needs to be reliable where it's used. That's a subtle but important distinction. The future isn't one chain to rule them all. It's many systems connected by settlement layers that institutions can trust. This is where Ripple's strategy becomes clearer. Ripple isn't just offering a blockchain. It's assembling a regulated settlement stack around liquidity, custody, treasury, and stable value. Ripple's regulated stablecoin provides a compliant digital dollar for settlement. Custody systems manage institutional assets securely. Treasury platforms integrate with existing financial operations. Payments infrastructure connects to real corridors. None of this replaces banks. It plugs into them. When you view this stack together, Ripple starts to resemble an execution layer, not a destination. A system designed to move value across networks, not trap it inside one. From an institutional perspective, flexibility beats purity. Banks don't want to bet everything on one network. Governments won't. Corporates won't. Regulation alone makes that impossible. What they will adopt is infrastructure that lets them operate across systems safely. Multi-ledger routing does exactly that. It allows institutions to keep existing rails while adding new ones, to move between fiat, stablecoins, tokenized assets, and CBDCs without redesigning everything from scratch. That's why the global liquidity engine doesn't look like a single product launch. It looks like quiet integration, one corridor at a time. Once this architecture is in place, the implications ripple outward. Settlement becomes real-time instead of end-of-day. Liquidity buffers shrink. Counterparty risk compresses. Treasury operations become automated rather than manual. And perhaps most importantly, money starts behaving more like information. Not because blockchains are fast, but because the system finally knows how to move value across boundaries without breaking. That's the shift most narratives miss. The most important financial infrastructure is rarely visible. Interledger, the XRP Ledger, and Ripple's institutional stack aren't competing for attention. They're solving coordination problems that most people never see, until something breaks. As finance fragments into more ledgers, not fewer, the systems that quietly connect them become the real engines of liquidity. That's the story beneath the headlines. That's the architecture beneath the price charts. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next deep dive. This channel is for educational and entertainment purposes only, and is not financial advice. Always do your own research and keep the discussion respectful. If you enjoyed the video, please consider liking, subscribing, leaving a comment, or sharing it with a friend.